that how it works? Okay.
Okay, we are back and ready to go into combat. So it's a bit hard for me at the moment because I'm trying to get everybody onto the actual map, but the range soon will quickly close. So we're going straight into combat. The dog's down here, everybody else is up here, and Studley, you are up first. What would you like to do? I'm just checking my mic. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm just checking my mic as well. Have you got us?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. The first thing that I want to do with Studley is to see whether or not he recognises what this is. I don't know whether or not that would be an complex action or whether or not I can just make a paranormal critter or parazoology roll to see whether or not I recognise what it is.
Yeah, okay. Tell me what's your action going to be?
Well, what I want to do, I want to point this remote control at it, which is already on, and see whether or not there's any, whether or not anything happens, especially with the collar, even though I know it's sparking, see whether or not any of the lights change on it or anything like that.
So, so roll your power zoology roll then.
Power zoology. 5 successes.
Yeah, this is obviously a Barghest or Bargeist, depending how you want to say it. And you lift the remote control and you point it at the beast and go like that. You notice that your red light comes on, and the red lights on the collar suddenly light up, and then there's a crackle of light, sort of like electricity. And the lights go off again. Billy Bob, you're up.
Billy Bob's gonna take 3 or 4 steps forward, and he's gonna aim his weapon at the beast, and can he fire?
He certainly can. If he wishes to.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's going to take a couple of steps forward, activate the smart link on his weapon.
Okay.
And then aim.
Okay. Hector, you're up.
Hector is going to move this way, and he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything further. He's going to delay his reaction to quick draw and then fire his pistol when the creature gets within a 5-meter range, and then he's going to use his free action to go to say out loud to everyone, are we stunning or killing this thing?
Okay, so on 15, this beast just like leaps and suddenly appears here, right next to you. So your delayed action will come off first, Hector.
Okay, so I need to do my pistol skill if I can find it. I need a 2 or more. It's a quick draw,
so the pistol comes out into your hand.
And Hector's just going to shoot, but he's going to shoot with, if I can actually find my tab, it's going to do this.
So that 6 successes, yeah?
Yeah.
So as it jumps towards you, you quick draw your weapon and take a shot at it. It's taken it down to 9p before its 9p. 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 soak. Hang on, what's my... I just need to check my armor. Ba, 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 ba. Because he's got natural... Oh, no, that's fine. 9p.
Excuse me. You have a wound penalty on your dog.
Yeah, I know.
All right, that's fine then.
Yeah. -1. 9. So you as it jumps towards you, you fire your gun, and it takes 7 points of physical damage. Okay, cool. And now it's my turn to fight. So it's going to claw and bite. So this claw comes to you. The claw comes to you, and the bite goes to Billy Bob. Just mainly because of where you are, because it's more difficult to. So this is the claw that goes towards you, Hector. So you need to do dodge first. You're looking 2 successes to avoid the claw. Yeah, so you avoid the claw, and then this is the bite towards you, Billy Bob. So you need to dodge first. Is he there? Yeah. Don't forget to add 1.
Yeah, I was going to ask. Plus... Wait, why is that not working? Plus... That's +1 in Mexico.
Yeah, so he
5 successes,
he goes off to it tries to slash out at Hector, and Hector manages to avoid the shot, and then it comes biting down at you, Billy Bob, and you manage to avoid it as well. You also notice now from this distance that this dog is severely injured. It looks like it's been in battle, and it's obviously its wounds haven't healed or anything. It looks like it's been injured before. Okay.
Recently, or
yeah, recently. The wounds are still gaping.
okay.
You know, from what appears to be a series of blades and gunshots to the beast. Do you want to adjust your initiative? Don't forget to click on your character before you adjust. Okay, and Studley, we'll do you first because you're at the back.
Okay, Studley's going to he's going to cast a spell.
Cool.
Still holding this remote control in one hand. He almost like throws a fake punch at this large dog.
Yeah.
It's coming in at 4-6. So you are.
What am I
You tried to dodge it.
It's just like a normal dodge.
It's just like it's just like a normal attack coming in, like a gun attack.
Cool. 2 successes.
Okay, so you're looking at 9p to resist with a -6 AP.
To my armor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is stun damage.
Cool.
9s, sorry, not 9p.
2 successes.
So you're taking 7s.
Okay. Yeah.
And I resist my drain.
Yeah. Cool. So you whack this clout into it, and it's sort of like, whereabouts would it? Tell me what happens.
It's almost like a little fake uppercut that he does. He just sort of like goes like that, and the force of it catches the animal underneath its chin, maybe even knocking it back.
Yeah,
Knocking it prone, or
no, it probably knocks it. It's sort of like knocks it like this a bit, and it goes like this, and brings its head a bit around a little bit more. It looks extremely angry. Extremely. Billy Bob, you up?
Okay, so with my smart link activated and I'm aiming down my sight at this beast, I'm going to let rip. So what's that? It's +3, +4?
if
right?
you're aiming, if you've got your smart gun activated, that's +2.
Plus
You're aiming,
2.
that's
Plus
+3.
Oh,
So you're adding on +4 because you want to take into account
Your
your
damage,
situation modifier for your wound.
so
Yeah.
3,
4.
+4. Woohoo! 6 successes.
Okay. Two, so that'll be 10p. Yeah. What did that?
Yeah.
3 physical. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're quite impressed now because you figured that this should have taken this dog out, and you're not too sure what's happening because you think your combined damage, this dog should be dead, but it's not, Hector.
Does
Hector, you up?
Hector is going to take another shot with his pistol. Three this time.
Did it roll?
Yeah, 3
he's come up with
successes.
3 successes.
My dog.
No, your dog didn't roll.
Okay.
Your dog hasn't rolled yet, no.
Did that time 2 successes, so you're looking at 8p.
8p. And that's -1, isn't it? 8.
5p.
5p. Yeah, it's still up. My turn to fight. So this is the same as last time. Claw and bite. So this is the claw heading to Hector. There's 1 success there. You should be able to dodge out the way of it. Yep, that's a dodge. And then Billy Bob, this is your bite. 1 success there again. Or only just, and you snap. As it snaps, you just manage to dodge out the way, and it seems to be still up, and all of you think this is unbelievable. It should not actually still be up. You've estimated the amount of damage you're doing. This thing should be dead, no doubt about it at all. Okay, so next round.
Awful roll.
Well, let me just organise it. Okay, Billy Bob, you're up first.
Okay. It's not gonna aim this time. He's just gonna open up after the bite comes down, nearly snatching his arm off, pulls it away, just points it back at him, and where'd it go? Oh, crap.
Two.
I didn't. Never mind.
No,
Yeah,
I can see
cool.
two successes.
I didn't add on, but it's okay.
Yeah, so that hits. So hit for 8 stun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is plus 1. Um, 8. That's 2 stun. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Studley, you're up.
Studley wants to spend a round trying to recollect what he might have learned or read about this type of paranormal critter
Yeah.
to see whether or not there's any reason that he might know of why it's taken all this damage and is still up.
Yeah. Roll your paranormal critter. Well.
5 successes.
Yeah, you're not too sure at all. There's several things that's really weird. Normally, these beasts have something like a howl action or something like that renders, that it renders people in terror and makes them run away. And there's been no evidence for this. But normally, they're just like normal, everyday animals like that, and then just fight till they're dead. But this seems completely strange. Completely and utterly strange. Hector, you're up.
Hector's gonna. I've seen that everyone else is using. No, never mind. No, forget that. He's going to attack again with his pistol, but he's going to aim and shoot this time. 3 successes.
Yeah, sorry. What's that? -1.
It is -1, yeah.
That's 10. It takes it down. Is this 9?
9.
So that's 9 physical.
9, 20, 9, 18, 27. And with that final shot, you just sort of like level your gun off at it and fire into the beast, and that it just kills it. And it just sort of like shoots out. It goes straight the way through the beast and out the other side. And the beast just literally falls to the ground, literally dead. In one fair swoop. It doesn't sort of like howl or anything like that. 1 minute it's up, and the next minute it's down.
Hector just turns to Billabong and goes, "It's 2 for 2 for those things."
Studley's going to push his glasses back onto his nose and he's going to look round at the gangers. And he's going to look at the large dog, and he's going to say, so it would seem that the, whatever it was, what was it?
A Barghest or Bargeist or whatever.
It would seem that the Barghest, that's what we're calling the large dog-like creature, was actually on our side, probably guarding the entrance. And these gangers were obviously on the side of the enemy and have tried to get the now what was the word I was supposed to use? The asset. Hence why we were provided with the transceiver or the transmitter to probably I don't know, let let him know we were friendly, and I think that when these gangers attacked, he was injured. Probably the collar was damaged in some way, and the last or the first ganger that we came across was the one that was running. He was probably the last survivor, and once he was killed, the baguette actually returned back to its guard post.
Hector's going to stand there for a moment, taking all that in and sort of like going, trying to work out how he suddenly got to that point of view, but then just go, yeah, makes sense. And then he's going to make sure he's then going to make sure he takes a picture of the broken collar using his the camera and his contact lenses as evidence to say, if thinking, and then says, well, and then says, good thing I've just taken a picture of the broken collar just in case they tried to blame us for this. We can say the collar was broken and attacked.
What do you mean when you said to Mr. Bob, 2 for 2?
Oh, yeah, we mess up with one of these things in a park of all places a few months ago on a different job.
And it attacked you?
It jumped out of the back of a van and charged us. Yeah, yes.
Right.
Very much like it did with this one, but this one didn't have a collar on it. The last one didn't have a collar, as I remember.
Does Studley know how rare these things are?
Yeah, you just going back to your previous successes, because you got quite a lot and I couldn't give you enough information. They're normally used by corporations as security dogs. They tend to sort of like try to control them in order to sort of like ensure that they're sort of like guarding areas or specific doors or general sort of like patrolling.
Okay. Studley's going to assume that now that the baguette is dead and that his remote control had obviously something to do with the collar that it was wearing, he's going to put the remote control in the pocket of his jacket, push his glasses onto his nose, carefully stepping around any bodies
or body parts.
Yeah, try not to look at them. He is going to, how many gangers were there? Probably about 3 or 4 maybe.
Make a perception roll now.
Four successes.
Yeah, you figure including the one at the entrance, there was probably about 5 altogether.
Okay. I'm still sustaining. My focus.
Yeah, it will be sustaining.
My focus concentration is still sustaining my increased reflexes.
Yeah. How many successes did you get for that?
I got 4 successes. Okay. So +4 reaction, +2 dice.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
Oh, go on.
All right. Hector is going to carefully skirt around the bodies as well, make his way over to the door.
What's
the security door?
What's the 3 on your?
Oh no, that was me keeping track of my pistol. What I've got left in my gun.
Right, got you.
Because it has 6 shots and I've used 3.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
And the red dot is to say that it was the proper one and a proper gun instead of a taser. But whilst he's doing that, I was going to say he's going to flick open the chamber with one hand, empty out the 3 empty casings, and then thumb in 3 new bullets as well at the same time, so it's fully loaded.
So Studley is also going to go up to the door, and he's looking to see whether or not there's any type of keypad, anything like that, which would allow a passcode to be inputted into it.
Yeah, there's one here.
Hector, realizing he's standing in front of it, is going to sidestep, and then he's going to holster his pistol as well. and say, "All yours, Studley." Gesturing with his head at the keypad.
Does it? Doesn't look like it's been tampered with or anything, does it?
No, there's nothing on it. There's no blood or anything like that. It just looks like a normal keypad, and you can see that there's 6 digits to be typed into it.
And the card that we had, that also was a 6-digit.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so Studley's going to take it out of his pocket. He's going to look at it, and he's going to look at the lock.
Yeah.
And he's going to type in the code.
Yeah, so you type in the code, and as soon as you typed it in, there's a sort of like a sound, and the door comes out slightly and goes towards the north as you look at it, and it opens up onto a corridor, quite wide corridor, going downwards. There's no steps, but there's definitely a slope on it.
Is the corridor lit in any way?
Well, yeah. So, and as it goes and comes across, you notice that lights down the corridor go blink, 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 and come on and light it all.
Hector's going to go snazzy, and then he's gonna start down the ramp.
Studley's going to as Hector starts going down, Studley's going to put his hand on Hector's shoulder and said, "Do you think we should scout it out first?"
For what? We're expected. But good point.
Okay, that's fine.
Hector will then turn to Billy Bob and go, "After you, big man."
Billy Bob was going to stand guard at the doorway, just in case anyone else came up and tried to get in after we got in.
Is there a pad on the other side at all of the door?
Yeah, so looking in, you sort of like check on either side, and there seems to be no sort of like keypad on the other side at all.
Okay. Studley's going to go in and he's going to look above the door to see whether or not there's any type of sensor or anything that might cause it to close after a while.
No, there seems to be no sensor at all, but you do notice that there's 2 cameras, one on either side, looking downwards, almost like monitoring the corridor.
Okay.
Hector, after Billy Bob saying that he's going to stand up here and stand guard, and goes, "All right, off we go then, Studley."
Okay. Studley's going to cast a spell.
Okay, so Billy Bob, are you staying up at the top and guarding the?
Yeah, I'm going to stand at the doorway and guard the entrance here.
Okay, cool.
So he's going to have his pistol out.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, you want to cast a spell?
Yeah. So I'm doing. Studley's going to. He's almost going to. He stood just in the entrance, and he's going to close his eyes, and he's going to cast clairvoyance.
Yeah.
And he's going to take his vision down the corridor.
Yeah. How far down the corridor would you like to go?
Until he actually sees something. Oh, I don't want that as a modifier. Hang on. Casting out Force 6. Force successes, drain resisted.
Yeah. So you can actually see what I've put on the corridor, on the map.
Okay, okay. So it slopes down.
Yeah.
And comes to another door.
Correct. Slightly bigger than the last one.
Is there a keypad?
Yes, there is.
Okay. And there's 2 cameras as well.
Yeah. So you think the cameras between them are probably patrolling keeping an eye on all the ramp.
Okay. So Studley's going to bring his clairvoyant sight back and open his eyes. He's going to say, so the corridor goes down, fully lit as it goes down, ends in a large door. Was there a maglock, did you say, keypad?
Yes, there certainly is.
With another maglock keypad. There are cameras at both the front of the top of this and also at the end of this corridor. Mr. Bob, I would probably suggest that you come inside, because it may be that they're monitoring us coming in, and once we are heading down the ramp, they will close these doors. Plus, there is also the chance that our entrance might not necessarily be our exit.
Okay, Billy Bob's going to come inside, but he's still going to stay at the top for now until the door. If the door does close, then he'll make his way down.
Okay, so are we going down the ramp?
Yeah, Studley's going to say,
Yeah.
So shall we proceed, gentlemen?
Yeah,
and he's going to head down.
Okay, so just as Studley predicts, as you go in, the cameras pick up your movement coming into the room, and all of a sudden the outside door goes and closes, and you hear the faint click of the lock behind you as it seals in. The lights are still on.
Then Billy Bob will walk down with them.
Okay.
So yeah, Studley's going to walk down to the down the corridor, right the way down to the down to the bottom. As he gets towards the door, he's going to be looking up at the cameras that are positioned there, and he's going to push his glasses back onto his nose and smile. And he's going to go up to the keypad. Is that the? Oh, I thought that was the red dot of the keypad, but it wasn't. I just didn't have my finger zoomed out.
It's here.
It's where, sorry?
Here.
All right. So does it look like it's another 6-digit?
Certainly does. Can I just say to you, as you come down this corridor, there's can you, all three of you, make perception rolls, please?
Two for Studs.
2 for Hector.
Does Billy Bob remember to add his 1 on?
Does he?
Nah.
Okay, and 4.
my
Okay,
God.
As you
We
walk,
have a winner.
as you walk down here, you feel it seems to be very stale air. There's obviously some kind of air exchange going on here and recycling, but it's almost like you don't think it's actually going out to the outside. It seems to be exchanging it within this area, as if it's been recycled for quite a while, and that's what's giving that almost like that stale smell in here. You also
Does it look well maintained?
Yeah, you also notice that the actual corridor is very well maintained. It looks very efficient, and the lights look good, and the cameras, the top cameras follow you down as you go down, and then the bottom cameras pick you up and then they sort of like continually monitor you as you go down down to the bottom door. This bottom door is a lot bigger than the top door, and it looks a lot thicker. It looks a lot more substantial than the door up at the top. You notice that the ground is, as you can see, is the sheet metal. There's no sign of activity down here at all. It doesn't look worn. Doesn't look dirty. If anything, it looks somewhat sterile.
More maybe like a laboratory, something like that.
Yeah, possibly.
From what from what Studley remembers about the about our employers, 007 Bytes, they look to be a sort of like a corporation that didn't have a lot of cash. You know, they weren't sort of like the top.
That is correct. Yeah.
Compared to the other one, the Qubit 64, there was a big difference in there.
Qubit 64 is a lot bigger corporation. Yeah.
Okay.
But could it be that this is still the right level for 007 Bytes, and then Qubit 64 is even better?
Could be.
Bearing in mind this is out of Hector's experience completely. This sort of level of corporation that he's been dealing with.
Studley's going to turn to the other two and say, what do you think this place was used for, gentlemen? Storage?
Could be. Experiments.
Billy Bob's going to just shake his head. Not got a clue.
Okay, Studley's going to take the card out of the pocket again that has the key code on it, and he's going to type it in onto this lock.
Okay, so you type in the 6-digit number that it seems like that's what it wants to be wants to accept, and again the door opens. This time it goes pts, and it goes inwards. It doesn't come out towards you. It goes inwards and to one side, and there's this waft of extremely stale air, really sort of like dense, almost like as if the aircon has packed in weeks ago. There's also a slight smell of urine and feces coming out of this room, and almost like the smell of something that has probably been in here for quite a few weeks, but not actually the air hasn't been, the air is obviously being transferred in here, because there's still air coming out, but it's not as efficient as this corridor that you've actually just gone down. And then inside, once you open the door, there's a very strange thing greets you, because I'm going to put it on, but I'm not going to put your characters on yet because you're looking into it. Okay. And what you see is this. Now the door, I put the doorway on for you. I don't know if you can see where the doorway is. Yeah, it's there. And it seems to be an almost like cellar. And there's sort of like various living quarter items down here. There seems to be these bits over here are sort of like beds. I know they don't look at it, but that's what it is. And these things over here seem to be some kind of food dispenser. And just so you know, down in this corner, I didn't put it on because it was too disgusting, is some kind of toilet or waste disposal thing. And the whole room seems it's sort of like got this stone floor and stone walls, and it's all wooden, and there's no metal in here, or hardly any metal, apart from the food dispenser and things like that. And it seems very, for want of a better word, it looks very old-fashioned. You know, you've seen pictures of this sort of like a long time ago in sort of like vids of things. And in the middle, when you get to the door, he sort of like stands up from the table, and he seems to be a guy in his sort of like his mid 30s, 40s, and Studley, you immediately recognise him as Max Sinclair, or his doppelganger. You know, he looks very much like Max Sinclair, and he sort of like stands up and sort of like says, "Oh, have you come for me?"
Hector's going to go, "Mr. Sinclair, I presume?"
He says, "Yes."
"In that case, yes, we are here for you."
Excellent.
Studley's going to put his hand into his trouser pocket, and he's going to come out with a white hanky that has the initials SL on the embroidered onto the edge of it, and he's going to use that to hold over his nose to cover up a bit of the spell, a bit of the smell.
Hector is going to take a half step back to make space for him to, Mr. Sinclair, to join us outside of the safe house, and at the same time he's going to go, "Got everything you need? Because we're going."
He says, I don't think I need anything. Are you letting
That's
me?
right then.
Are you letting me out now?
Yes, of course, you're coming with us.
Excellent.
Studley's going to say, how long have you been down here?
He sort of like he sort of like walking to the door, and he sort of like says, "Well, I lost track, but I think it's months." He says, "So," he says, we're ready to go then?"
We're ready to go. We've got a car outside.
No, we're not ready to go yet. We're just waiting for the all clear, I think. Yes, we're waiting for the all clear.
All clear, he says.
Yes. Just take a seat, and yes, we'll let you know when we're ready to go.
Right. Oh, yes. He says, I understand. He says, I understand. These things can be a little bit sensitive. Yeah. So, yeah, a few more minutes probably won't make much difference. He says, I'll just sort of like sit here. And he just sort of like pulls up a chair and sits down at it. And he just sort of like looks around. You notice on the table there's sort of like discarded takeaway packets that seem to be come from the food dispenser, and they're sort of like the beds are all rumpled. But he seems to be in some kind of suit that is quite smart and almost like creaseless and absolutely perfectly pressed. And
do both beds look like they've been used?
Yes, yeah, both of them. And he sort of like, he pulls out his chair and he sort of like sits down at the chair, and he says, like, sits there, and he says, okay. He's sort of like looking around.
Studley's going to enter the room, and he's going to have a look around. See whether or not he can pick up anything interesting. Stuff like, maybe more than one different size of, different sizes of clothing, one or how many food things does it look like 2 people have been sat at the
Okay.
the table eating?
Yeah. Okay. Hector and Billy Bob, what would you like to do?
Billy Bob's just going to stand on the outside of the door, like acting as a security guard.
Okay. And Hector, what would you like to do?
Hector's he will go into the room, but stand just by the doorway, ready to escort Mr. Sinclair out when Studley's finished. But he's standing there with a half, like, his eyebrow is ever so slightly raised when he looks at Studley.
Okay. Studley, make a perception roll.
A success.
Yeah, there just seems to be, you sort of like take a look round, and there's obviously a very messy person living here, but it's definitely one person. You don't think there's more than one here. You think he probably slept in one bed until it was quite rumpled, then slept on the other bed. But apart from that, there's it just looks like a normal. It just definitely looks like one person. It's quite a messy person, and you probably roll a double intuition roll. Yeah, there seems to be quite a mismatch. The dirt and the dishevelness of this place doesn't seem to reflect this nice, neat, suited person that is sitting at the desk, at the table in the middle. There's almost like a discrepancy between the two.
The thing that's got Studley on edge about it is that he obviously didn't know that we were coming, but it looks like he's ready to go. He's in this suit.
Yeah.
As if he was expecting us, but wasn't expecting us. And everything else is sort of like a mess. But he's there as if he's ready to go. Does Studley notice any cameras in here? He's basically looking to see whether or not this person might have known the camera, had seen us coming in the camera feed.
There's no monitors. If that's what you're asking, that's quite obvious. There's no monitors unless he's actually hooked up to them in some way.
Right.
I mean, he could have a comm link.
Okay. The next thing that Studley wants to do, he wants to switch perception, and wants to see. He wants to read this guy's aura and see whether or not he has any type of cybernetic implants, anything like that.
Okay, then roll your sensing skill.
2 successes.
Okay, number one, he's masked. So
Okay.
the outside appearance is not what the person looks like. The person underneath is a teenager, maybe late teens, early 20s, and he looks quite disheveled, as if he's been sort of like slumming it for some time. So there's a discrepancy there. You also notice that the teenager has a DNI, has a data jack implanted, but he also has something else. And it seems to be, when you look at his aura, it's quite unbelievable, because there's a piece of cyberware that is deep in his head, really, really deep. And it seems to be a large chunk of metal in his head, and then there seems to be it almost looks like a spider. There's thin tendrils of metal, sort of like going round in his skull. So it's almost like there's a spider, but it's got more than 8 legs, and it's just like a chunk of metal, and then all these tendrils going out inside his head. And apart from that, he has no cyberware on.
Okay, so taking the information that Studley's just got from there, could he presume that the actual suit is part of the illusion, and that it doesn't matter what this guy looks like underneath, he's always going to look prim and proper in this suit because it's part of the physical mask that...
Most definitely. And just out of interest, even when you look at it, Studley, it's a bloody good mask. You know, you can cast up to a full 6 spells. I think you can actually cast this spell, can you not?
I can do physical mask, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't seen anything as good as this. It's almost perfect. You know, that there's no glitches, there's no hint of anything. It's masking his looks, it's putting this suit on, it's masking his smell. You even wonder whether or not there's some kind of voice modulation going on.
Yeah, because they can make his voice. But for them to be able to sustain it, I mean, Studley knows about magic. Could it be some type of ritual that they're...
Remember there was the ring that Hector was given in the last run that did pretty much the same thing.
Do you have a magical theory, Will?
I don't have a magical theory, no.
So in which case, roll your spell casting at -2, plus your logic.
Spell casting. Well, I'll just use it as the standard 6. Logic 5, 11. -2, did you say?
Yeah.
11, 9.
And this is only because you know the spell. I wouldn't normally let you do it. 3 successes. It could be ritual, or it could be that somebody's sustaining it far away. Because as you know that you can cast a spell, and you can sustain it without line of sight.
But if somebody was to go to sleep,
well,
they would lose it,
and that's the interesting thing.
So they would have had to be constantly awake for however long he's been down here, and he's obviously been down here a lot of time because of the...
Not necessarily.
Not really. You've got the cameras, so that could have been like an alert to say, okay, time to cast the spell.
You can't cast it through electronic devices, though.
No, but they've seen us, and they... What would they have to have been? Oh, I don't know.
Right. Okay. Studley's going to sit next to him, and he's going to go.
Right, Max. I'm just going to call you Max. Are you? You know what you're doing. You know what your part is, don't you?
Oh yes. He says. He sort of like leans a little bit close to you. He says, "I'm not really Max." He says.
Yes, I know, but I'm just going to call you Max because, we've got to keep up the charade, shall we say, because that's part of our job. So we will be referring to you as Max throughout this run.
He says, my real name's Joe.
Right. Okay, Joe.
And he winks.
Right, okay, but we will be calling you Max. So, you've been down here for a couple of months. When did you last have physical contact with another human being?
He looks quite puzzled about your question, and he says, sorry, he says, aren't you meant to be taking me somewhere?
Yes, we are supposed to be taking you somewhere. I'm just trying to get a bit of background knowledge, but bit of background information. Looking to see whether or not our mission might have been compromised at all.
He says, right. He says, sorry. He says, I wasn't prepared for this.
Well, I mean that's no problem. If you're not prepared for it at all. Pretty simple question. Then we can be on our way.
We could be on our way. Excellent. Are we going now?
So how long is it? A week? A month? 2 months? Have you been down here by yourself for 2 months, or have you had visitors?
He says about a month.
Right. Okay.
Right, off we go, he says. And he stands up from the table.
Okay. Studley's going to stand up again.
He sort of like says, have you got a car or a van?
Hector says, "Yep, we've got a van waiting just outside."
Oh, brilliant! He comes over and he stands next to Hector. Right, he says, "Shall we go?"
Yep, after you, Mr. Billy Bob, who's standing outside the door here, will lead the way. You will follow, and then Studley and myself will bring up the rear.
Cool. He says, "Shall we head off then?" I'm just going to move you back to the other map.
Can Billy Bob? Can Studley walk by the side of him?
Right, I'm just putting everybody back on.
Okay.
And then you can decide where. Oops, I don't want that. Let me just pop that. Let me just go on to the right layer. Right, so that's I'm going to move you. Right, are you all on this layer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So this is Billy Bob. Okay, so he's leading the way. Who do you want next?
Studley is going to go next, but just slightly in front of Joe.
And you want Joe
I'm
next?
going to move forward a bit more then.
So you want Joe here?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
And Hector there. Cool. Okay, so you walk like that up, and then as you approach, you notice yet again, sure as you leave the bottom bunker, the door goes and closes, and the cameras yet again follow you up. And as you get close to the top, Billy Bob, because you're way in the lead, the door, as you approach the door goes and opens again.
I've still got my weapon out, by the way.
Yeah.
Hector is walking with his hands near, not on, but near to his pistols, so he can act quickly if need be.
Yeah.
He's keeping an eye out to his right and his left, and slightly behind him as well.
Cool.
So every so often he'll look around.
Studley is walking with his handkerchief over his nose still.
Yeah. So Billy Bob, you're at the front door again.
Okay. So
That is now open, of course.
Right. So Billy Bob's going to go out into the alleyway.
Yeah.
Make sure it's all clear. If it's all clear, he's going to signal them to come out, and as they come out, he's going to carry on walking down to the car.
Okay, cool. Just 1 second. I'm just taking the cameras off so I can use the same.
And there was me thinking, 1 second. Uh-oh, we're going to be ambushed.
Oh, I want to see what he's going to do with the doors. If he's going to try to use the same thing.
As the GM puts a dozen of those creatures that we just.
It's quite clever, look, because all I do is I hid the bottom door.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So the bottom door's hidden now.
I didn't know whether or not you could hide it because.
Yeah, I just stick it onto the GM layer.
Also, it's an extra tokeny type thing.
Yeah. So it's the same token. It's just on a different layer. So it's the same way I keep all my monsters. So I have a lot of mobs here at the moment. Sorry, not on this one, but on the other ones. So you just can't see them until I stick them onto your layer. But I've got them. So
yeah, I've been experimenting with the DM version of Roll20, just having a look at peruse.
So
was there any mirrors in
no
that bottom room?
Nothing at all.
What's Billy Bob doing?
I'm just putting him down to the bottom of the map.
Oh,
because the doors at the bottom.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so Billy Bob, you come out the door, and did you say you had your weapon drawn?
I do, yes.
Yeah, and you come out the doorway, and Studley, you just get to the doorway. So Max is still behind you, and Hector's still further down the doorway, and Billy Bob's out. And all of a sudden, Billy Bob, you hear, it's almost like a scream. No, it's not a scream. It's almost like a huge amount of swear words. And all of a sudden, this ball of fire comes shooting down the alleyway towards you, and as it comes down, you see it as a distance. You saw coming out, gun out, looking down, and then also you hear the shout, and you turn, and you see this ball that in the distance starts off really small, but actually gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and as it gets close to you, it just explodes in a massive ball of fire.
Now can I put my...
Hang on, let me just... I just need to...
I haven't signaled them out yet, so...
No, so this actually happens as you come out. Studley, you're at the door. You know, but so you can see Billy Bob, but you're not in line of fire of this at the moment. Okay, let me just do this.
And I got something against magic, I'm sure.
Yeah, you've got something.
Magic.
You took a karma point against something.
So all of a sudden, this fireball comes whooshing down and sort of explodes around you. So this is when you can put karma points. I don't know whether or not you can counterspell indirect spells. Studley.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Because what's the first? You know when you do something like clout. What's your first roll?
It's the indirect spells.
Yeah.
The disadvantage of them is that that they can be dodged.
Yeah. So,
and that they can also be that your armor.
Yeah, exactly. So Billy Bob, the first thing that you need to roll is your dodge.
Right. Do I add the +2 on them because does this magic resistance?
No, because
Count for anything?
that would be if I was firing a mana bolt at you or a power bolt directly at you. But this is literally a ball of.
If you had 5 resistance, it would help.
Yeah, but you don't. So this is your first. This is your dodge.
Dodge. +1. Dodge it. 3 successes.
Okay, so I think I'm right, Studley. Do correct me if I'm wrong with this. That if my force was 6.
Yeah, he's got -6 AP.
So, but I got 1 success and he's got 3 successes.
So what was that on his dodge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not you can dodge an area of effect spell.
Hang on.
So if it's coming from down thing and I can see it coming at me.
Yeah, but it's coming down and then the mage has exploded it, so it's sort of like billowed out into this massive fireball.
Right.
That's what we're seeing to see whether or not it's
as long as you have, for counterspelling tricks, as long as you have line of sight or it's being cast against you, you can actually counterspell a fireball. It's in one of the examples.
Whereabouts?
Page 295 in the example box. A second opposing mage then decides to pound whatever his name's team with a fireball. She decides to use all of her 4 of her remaining dice to defend against the spell. And she designates herself and every member of her team as people protected by her efforts. This means whatever her name is, and each of her teammates receive a +4 dice pool bonus to the defense tests.
Oh, so
after this,
so it goes on to the defense test then.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
suggests
but you have to have line of sight, or it has to be cast at Studley.
right. But I've got line of sight on Billy Bob.
you've got line of sight, so that's not a problem. Hang on. Yeah.
But I can't dodge it. So I'd have to soak it.
This is what I'm just saying. I see what Studley is saying, because you can't really dodge a fireball because it is like unless it was to dodge. Let me just check. All directs are emanate from the as a post test kind of like shooting gun. So you don't really need to be able to see dark. The damage of the successful indirect spell is 4. Okay, so it works like a grenade going off. It's a bit like dodging a grenade.
Oh, right, it's scatter. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like if you threw a grenade, you can probably dodge the grenade, but you're still going
But
to.
you're still going to get hit by the blast.
So, Studley, you get the choice now to put your counter spell dice onto his. He's going to use his body plus his armor, and it's going to be -6 for my force of my spell.
Okay, so I'm going to put 6 points of my counter spell in onto Billy Bob, so that it will cancel out your. So he'll just roll his body and his armor.
Yeah. So my actual damage here at the moment is going to be 6p.
Right.
That's what you're trying to resist. So you need to roll your armor now. So you're going to put 6 counter spell on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just roll your armor.
My armor.
Yeah, just like your normal armor roll.
Just
Oh,
your
that's 13.
And
so
and normally it would be -6, but
+1.
so hang on. Are you giving him 6 dice?
yeah.
Yeah. So you roll your
Roll.
armor resist. Yeah.
So would that be 14?
You
Or
don't get a
13.
+1 on. You don't get a +1 because armor doesn't take into account your wounds big.
What's your
Okay.
what's your soak? What's your normal soak roll?
My soak roll is, where is it?
It's on the first page.
23.
Okay, that's what
So that's what you're
rolling.
rolling then.
So I just roll
hang
soak.
on. Hang on. He's roll. How many dice are you giving him?
He was rolling his body and his armor.
Yeah, and your dice.
All right. In which case, if he's rolling my dice as well, I thought my dice were cancelled out by the -6 that you were giving him AP.
Oh, and oh yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, so he would normally roll all of that and then put -6 AP in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
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 Okay, got you.
So he would normally roll 23, but he would get -6, so he would be rolling 17.
Yeah, but you're going
because
to
I'm
give him
giving
another
plus
6
3
dice. Yeah.
plus
Roll your
6
normal,
counter spell, and he'll just roll
soak roll
23.
big.
Just normal
Cool.
soak.
Just normal soak.
Right. Cancel. Roll my soak. And no. 5.
5. So that's 5 successes. So from my you take 1 as this fire explodes around you. You take 1 point of physical damage, 1 box of physical damage. Okay, as this fire and anything that's on your outside body, and I'll let you decide this, sort of like bursts into flames and become anything that's flammable. Actually ignites on your body. You'd see ahead of you. There's two almost like gangers here. I'm just going to put their labels on.
And we can't see them at all yet.
No, I'm just
Alright,
saying to you. I'm going to put the labels on, just so you know, because Big which one cast a spell.
Right.
So when they appear, they'll have their labels on because you know which one's which. There you go. So you can see this now. People in the.
I don't see any labels.
I don't see any labels.
No labels.
So
No labels.
so this one on this side,
Yeah.
Right.
that's the one that cast the
Okay. Right.
the
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So the may. Oh no, I know. Hang on, I know why.
Yay! We have
Way.
label.
There you go.
Should have another one for the other one saying non-made.
So
I'm just not.
something.
I'm just not.
I've got
going
to choose what's burning on me.
Yeah.
no,
Well,
it's just role play it out.
Oh,
You've just
right,
been
right,
hit
right.
by a big fireball.
yeah.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Studley, you sort of like cast out magic to try to protect Billy Bob as this flame sort of like cascades around him. You notice that Max or Joe sort of like goes, "Oh my," like this as it goes out there, and we're going to go into initiative.
Okay. Can I give a free action to shout, "Get him back"?
Well, hang on. Let's do initiative first and see who and what's
Rock
going to
on
go
18.
first.
Oh, look at me! I'm going at the same time as Billy Bob.
Okay,
Probably go
there we go. So, Studley, you're up first.
Okay, so Studley's counter-spelling dice have been replaced.
Correct. Yeah.
So he's going to put it to. He's going to make sure that he keeps Billy Bob in line of sight, but he's going to put it to group. So everybody can use it.
Is this including Max?
Does Max also get?
You can put anybody into your counterspell because you're not like a group.
Okay, so Max is going to be in it as well, and then he's going to cast a spell.
Okay, go for it.
I'm doing a physical mask at force 6. And I'm going to make myself look identical to Max.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
So there's going to be 2 Maxes.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm sustaining this one myself, so I'm going to be at -2 from now on. So if you could remind me.
Yeah, we'll do.
So I've taken 2 drain, but I've got 6 successes.
6 successes on it.
When do I go over?
Over what?
When's my net? When do I go -1 on?
It's every 3.
Right. Okay. So I'm now -1 as well.
It'll do it for you. So
Right,
okay. Hector, you're up.
I'm just double checking before I do anything. We're still inside the building, aren't we?
You are correct.
Hector is going to use this action to draw both of his proper pistols.
Okay.
So one in each hand, and then he's going to move up to the doorway. So he's standing, taking cover in the doorway. And then he's going to use his free action to say to Max, stay here, don't move.
Okay, Billy Bob, you're up.
This is blue, isn't it?
Studley's going to use his free action and go, okay.
So Billy Bob's tried to dodge this big fireball, which exploded all over him. He's dropped his weapon to put out the fire that's on his body armor.
He wouldn't need to drop his weapon. He can do it with his spare hand. That's not a problem.
But he has done, just so he can use his hand blade. And he's going to charge. He's going to charge the mage.
Kick the mage. Good choice.
Running 20. That's definitely in distance.
Yeah.
So he's going to run up to him and with his hand blade. Ooh, plus 1. And stick it in him.
What's your wound now? Because you're already damaged and you've just taken another one. Has it taken you over?
No,
taking you up to 4.
But he can only withstand 1 box, can't he?
Yeah.
And he hasn't gone up to 3 because his wound penalty still says 1.
Right.
So it must be 2 boxes that he's taken.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So I've got 1 in physical. Where is it? Yeah, I've got 1 in physical and 3 in stun.
What?
It says I got 3 stun. You said I took 3 stun and 1 in physical.
I did physical the last time. If you got 3 in...
Yeah,
so if he's got 3 in stun...
No, he took, yeah. So the first time he took 3 in stun because of his armor, it put it down to stun rather than physical when you got...
Yeah, in the last game.
So he's got 3 in stun, and now he's got 2 in physical.
1.
1 in physical. You need to... does ignore pain do stun damage?
Yes.
Okay.
It does both.
Okay,
but it can only do 1.
Yeah. Okay. So that's... He's got 3 stun at the moment and 1 physical. Yeah.
So he's still okay as far as. So that's 4
Plus one.
successes.
Yeah. So this is my defense roll. 2.
Two.
So that would be.
So you're looking at 11p.
Yeah. Yeah. So you slice this mage. You actually do 11 physical damage to him, which just sort of like kills him quite effectively, and that's it. Okay, so this is now the other ganger, who is going to fire his gun at you, Billy Bob.
I think I'm a little OP.
No, you're not OP.
The gangers.
What I've done is reduced. I've reduced because you were failing so much. I've reduced all the things down to barely nothing. So I mean, these guys. This guy here has a soak of 3.
But if you notice, they're also now using light pistols rather than heavy pistols.
Yeah. So they've got light pistols. So they're hardly doing. I mean, even if they do a lot of damage, they can't. You know, so. But what that's reflected on is that's reflected on your karma, because I take the highest number in the dice pool, and we divide it by 6, and that's your karma for your monsters. So really and truly, this mage's skill.
It was not very good.
It's hardly anything. You'll get nothing. You'll just get 2 karma. So anyway, that's two successes you need to dodge.
Oh, okay, sorry. Do I get the +1 in that or no?
Yeah,
yes, because it's a dodge. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just the soak that I don't.
Yeah, because that's just your armor and your body.
It won't take it off there in any case. Yeah, so this gunner sort of like fires his gun at you, but your peripheral vision picks it up, and he just sort of like you manage to dodge out the way it is. So as you run up to this mage, this other ganger fires as you're coming up and misses it, and then you finish off your attack by going into this mage and just sort of like killing him in one shot. So you just need to alter your initiative.
Okay.
So Studley, you're up on 15.
Studley's going to be stood next to Max, looking as Max, and he's going to have his hand across the front of Max and sort of like touching the wall to stop Max actually moving forward.
That's cool.
And he's going to say in exactly the same voice, if you're physically masked, do you hear your own voice still, or do you hear the person who's your...
I think you should say it in Studley's voice, just so we know who's saying it.
Right, okay. Yeah. Studley's going to say,
just one moment.
Okay, cool. Hector, you're up.
Hector is going to use an aimed shot to cancel out the distance at the other ganger.
Cool.
That's the one I want. Two successes.
Three successes. So you sort of like hide behind cover and sort of like fire it off at medium range, but your shot misses the ganger. Billy Bob, you're up.
Okay, after dodging the round that come at me and seeing that Tex over there can't shoot for shit, he's gonna charge this one and stick him with his hand blade.
Just a distraction, Billy Bob. That's all it is. This
Is
is
that
what
what it
Hector
is?
says over some vocal. Just a distraction so you can stick him.
Okay, 3 successes.
Okay, he has none. So let's try to soak this now. So I've only got he's actually only got 3 dice to soak, and then you
could get it down.
You've actually got an armor penetration of -2, which actually gives me 1 dice to soak. This is how basic they are. You know,
Get a 6.
yeah. So you just quite easily kill this one as well.
I stick it right down his
That's cool.
his throat area into his chest.
So yeah, so these, you figure these are sort of like minor gang members that, you know, and you notice, Billy Bob, that they have the same livery, the same outfit as the people who are dead on the ground as well. So you figure they've probably somebody might have got away and they've sort of like come back to take their revenge on this dog, and then found you guys here instead. Okay, what would you like to do?
Question: Do we have the comm number of wheels?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Billy Bob's going to go back and pick up his weapon after making sure that no one else is around. So he's going to go back and pick up his weapon and tell him it looks clear to come out.
Cool.
Hector's going to pass that message on, and then he's going to move to the opposite side over there to allow space for both the Sinclairs to come out.
So Studley is still sustaining his physical mask spell, and he's going to walk with the other Max, and we're going to come out together. Studley's going to do his best to walk the same as Max walks.
Yeah.
Just so that, you know, it's a sort of like a 50-50 chance if anybody fires or anything like that, then you could also get it.
And you managed to walk down this alleyway, and Wheels is still waiting at the end for you. And as you approach the car, you hear a sort of like voice that says, "Terminate parking mode," and then the doors just go.
Hector goes to both Maxes and goes, "In you get."
So,
and then proceeds to holster both pistols and then get in after.
What is it? What seating is it in the back? Is it 3 in the back, 1 in the front?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so we'll stick Pop and Max in the right-hand side. I'll go in the middle. And
then Hector will be the last in and be the last in.
Yeah. Okay. And you sort of like get in, and Wheels sort of like you hear him sort of like says, "Took your time," and the doors go, and the smoke glass comes up once again, and all of a sudden you just feel it's like this as the car goes shooting off down the path, and we will pick it up from there next week. So well done. Just to let you know, the Bargeist was actually injured, and thanks for pointing it out, Studley. But I didn't want. I think if I put him full blast at you, he would have taken you out.
Right.
So I injured him from the battle beforehand, because I know how you normally react to things, and I didn't want him to sort of like wipe you out at that stage. So I thought those previous, and Studley's point about the collar, so you know, was dead correct. That's exactly what had happened. So that's what was happening there. So you're back in Wheels, and you are heading off now to the next part. So, as always, I'll allow you to have an opportunity to say who you are and where people can find you, starting off with Chugawugga.
I'm Chugawugga. I've been playing Studley. You can also find me in Inwells's channel on a Saturday evening when we play Mithras, and I play the gingerhead sorcerer called Gulliver. Apart from that, you find me a bit in the Saturday afternoon where I moderate, and also on Sunday when I moderate his channel.
Excellent. And then underneath me, I have Longshanks EPG.
Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. Thank you for watching. You can usually find me playing this amazing game every Tuesday, and although I'm not here this Saturday, do feel free to check out Mithras as well, which I normally play in.
And finally, down there, we have Big Beastie.
I am Big Beastie. I've been playing Billy Bob, and you can catch me play in this channel every Tuesday playing Shadowrun, Saturdays playing Mithras, and lurking in Wills's channel, just doing nothing.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, yes, this week, this Saturday, we are going to playing Mithras, which is a D100 percentile fantasy setting. As Longshanks EPG says, he won't be playing Hengist today. Hengist will be taking a sabbatical for a while, but we will have Gulliver and we will have Briggs, and we will have 2 new characters. And one of the characters that we're going to have is a barbarian who will be played by Wrath Inspired, who is going to come and join the Mithras on a Saturday night. So that's something to look forward to. I've put his channel name up there so you can see where he was playing Destiny last time. So he will be around on Saturday with us. So take the party up to 4 to continue the adventure onwards and see what happens next. I will be back on Saturday afternoon before that for some ESO that I've now fixed. So I will be playing that and continuing my battle with my Dragon Knight and to see how far I can get with him. And then Mithras on Saturday night. And then, of course, on Sunday afternoon, I will be playing more ESO.
More Mithras.
So please do come along and join us. So until then, I would just like to say thank you to everybody for coming along and watching, and thank you very much to everybody in this chat. And it only remains for me to say, in my usual way, have fun, guys, and I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself well and truly waffled. Have fun, guys. Bye.
Goodbye.